Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm just recording this intro. You know how I usually do like a class discussion at the beginning of class? I'm going to do this one recorded because the first class we got disconnected 2 or 3 times. Our internet is working right now, but the wind is still blowing quite a bit. So I'm going to come on here and then do my little thing, just kind of preview the videos I'm going to ask you to watch today. So let's talk about the schedule. Please watch this video first. I'm going to give you an explanation of what you'll be seeing. Then watch, it doesn't matter the order, but CNN 10 for today, because they talk about a lot of things that are going on in the world that could be important to us. And I'm going to ask you to watch 2 videos that take place in Myanmar, formerly known as Burma. So you may, when you're hearing news about Myanmar, sometimes you may hear Burma or Burmese. So it used to be called that. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Myanmar, of course, and we'll talk a little bit about Hong Kong because that's also in the news. But let's take a look at Google Classroom here. Take a look. So this is the first part right here. 3 videos, a city-sized iceberg. We'll talk about that too in a minute. And then Drew Binsky's actually going to be on the ground in Myanmar, so you can get a look at some of the cultures, some of the cool things called pagodas, which are unique to this part of the world. So I just got to share something else here, but it takes me a second, I think. Okay. I don't want to share a different screen with you because this has a picture of what we're going to do today. So you can see there's a map of Burma, Myanmar, right here. So just to get an idea of where in the world this is not the first time we've talked about this, by the way. If you remember, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago, there was a coup, C-O-U-P, a coup where the military takes over the government. And for a long time, Myanmar was ruled by the military. And then I think it was about 10 years ago, a woman named Aung San Suu Kyi came into power. She's won the Nobel Peace Prize. We have talked about Burma before because Burma's mostly Buddhist, right? But here on the western side of the country, they do have some people who are called Rohingya Muslims. And under the president, Aung San Suu Kyi, there were rumors, and that could be true, that there was a genocide going on in Myanmar. We've talked about this. Hopefully you remember. So what a lot of the Rohingya Muslims have been doing have been crossing into this country, Bangladesh, which we've covered earlier in the year. It starts with a B. We covered Bangladesh. So the Muslims are moving into, like, fleeing. They're refugees. We've talked about that word too, refugees. They're fleeing Myanmar because they're being killed going to a country that is mostly Muslim in Bangladesh. Okay, that's Myanmar. And because the military took over, citizens have not been exactly happy. And over the weekend, it got violent. And there was tear gas used. And rumors, again, more rumors of actual live bullets. And about 18 people died in those protests. So the internet has been cut off. It might be back, though, to be honest, because I was doing a live stream on my other YouTube channel, and one of the guys watching, I think it was a guy, might have been a woman, said she was from Myanmar. So I don't know, but the last I knew, the internet was turned off in Myanmar. The next part where there are protests is this little place over here. Can we get a little bit bigger on it? It's called Hong Kong, right there. And the important part actually about Hong Kong is look at what it's near. And it's China. So you got little Hong Kong, which is until 1999, it was part of like the British Empire, England. And then in 1999, and it had been said for years that the lease was going to be up for the British. They would move out, and then China would pretty much take over, but then Hong Kong would kind of be independent. Well, China is exerting some pressure. If you know a little bit about China, I'm sure you do, they aren't the most free country in the world. Like, their internet isn't exactly free. They don't have the same internet that we do. So the government controls its people quite a bit. Look at that, Wuhan. I just noticed that in the map. Wuhan. You may know that from the coronavirus. But Hong Kong now, China is like, hey, no, Hong Kong, you are actually part of us, and we are going to exert more power over you. So far, they've had a lot more freedom than the people of China. And now China's like, nah, that time's over. Yeah, you're going to be more like us. And of course, the people who have experienced that kind of freedom, they're going to say, no, I don't think so. So, and then who in the world really wants to take on China too? So that's another problem. I'm sure the U.S. would like, hey, freedom, we love freedom. Although some people in the world may say, what? You're not that free. You can't even control your own capital. You have people breaking in. But anyway, it's going to be hard for anyone to really come to Hong Kong's defense because, like Big Brother, their Big Brother, Hong Kong's Big Brother, even though they're kind of part of China. China's not going to make, like, this is our territory. Back out. It's just like if, I don't know, Hawaii wanted to leave the United States and any other country was like, yeah, Hawaii should be able to go. The U.S. would probably be like, no, that's part of us. So it gets a little bit complicated. Two more things I want to talk about that CNN 10 is going to talk about. There's a major iceberg, basically, a city-sized iceberg. That's the title of the video. That's breaking off from Antarctica. Please watch that. But according to the experts, I'm not an expert on this. According to the experts, this is not related to climate change. I don't know how they can separate the two, but apparently this is natural. It's just people aren't exactly sure, scientists aren't exactly sure where this iceberg is going to go. And could it cause some trouble? Watch out, boats. We don't want another Titanic on our hands. Oh, couple more things about Myanmar I forgot to mention. They use pounds and they use miles, just like we do. If you ever travel internationally or make friends internationally, you will know that the United States is one of the few countries that actually uses miles. Most of the world uses kilometers. And then the rest of the world, like when they're weighing things, they don't say pounds, they say kilograms. But Myanmar, imagine that. So it's probably like us, Myanmar, and I think it's like Liberia or something. It's like another country in Africa. It might be Cote d'Ivoire or Liberia, somewhere there, I think. It's like 3 countries in the world that use pounds and miles. Then you'll see another woman, 21 years old. She just set the record for most rowing. She rowed 3,000 miles in the ocean. So you'll see, she's British. So you'll see her. All right, but I will be in the Zoom just in case we aren't separated to answer any questions. But that's my introduction. So I'm going to ask you now to take a look at CNN 10. Take a look at those 2 videos from Drew Binsky about Myanmar. And then if you're not done, can I bring this up again? I probably can't. If you're not done with, how do I do this? If you're not done with Texas Loses Power, remember that's due on, I think tomorrow. Texas Loses Power. It's Google form. It's right below. Yeah, I don't understand why. This should be easier to go from tab to tab. I can pull it up just because I brought it up, but there we go. Am I sharing it? Yeah, so you can see right below that, it says Texas Loses Power. Texas. So you're definitely going to want to, we've talked a ton about this, right? But you're definitely going to want to do that if you haven't done that yet. Or if you want to pass. If you don't want to pass, then you don't have to do it. But if you want to get a good grade, you probably should do it. All right. Hope this has been helpful. Hopefully we haven't gotten disconnected on Zoom, but if we have, at least you know what's going on in class today. All right.